Guys, salaries in the UK are so bad. They are actually awful, awful. Like, I used to work for the UK's competition regulator, the CMA. I used to be on a team that would investigate mergers and acquisitions. You know, if a company buys another company, we're talking billion-dollar companies, right? We would investigate to make sure monopolies wouldn't form. And if they did, we had the power to impose either divestment, so they'd have to sell the company, or we would impose remedies, so really strict rules that they had to follow. Really important, job, really important organization. I was paid 37 grand a year, guys. 37k, absolute joke. And I Googled what my equivalent made at the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission in the US, 108,000. You know, we're talking more than double. Salaries here are abysmal.
To the Institute of Economic Affairs, Britain is now poorer than all 50 American states. We've been overtaken, this is by GDP per capita, we've been overtaken by Mississippi, which is the poorest American state.
What?
But what's really interesting is they did a poll of 3,000 British voters asking them where they thought the UK was in terms of wealth, and British people thought that on average they would be the 7th wealthiest state if it was an American state. So the question is, why do British people think they're much wealthier than they actually are? If Britain was an American state, how wealthy do you think it would be? How many American states do you think are wealthier than us in terms of GDP per capita?
Blooming heck, me. You're asking the wrong person. Let's say 30, just ballpark
30.
guess.
In the middle,
I have genuinely no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think depending on the area as well. If we're talking like different areas of the UK.
So this is the UK as a whole versus all the each individual American state.
So in comparison, is that the question?
Yes.
What state?
Yeah. So what state would we be most like? How many states are poorer than us? How many states are richer than us?
Again, mate, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is not a you question.
Talking
is there a right answer?
Stuff, yeah.
So, okay, I'll give you the answer. Yeah. Have a guess.
So how many are richer than the UK?
Yeah, so it's 50 states.
Yeah.
If we were a state, how rich would we be?
I reckon we are in the lower 25%. I'm saying like a quarter.
That's definitely true.
Is it?
Extremely true. Actually, so we would actually be the 51st state, the poorest state. Every single American state. We've been overtaken by Mississippi,
awful.
which was the poorest American state. And there was a survey done for 3,000 British voters were polled, and most British voters thought we would be about 7th. Which is 7th out of 50, whereas we're actually 51.
Oh my god.
So why do you think we're so much poorer than the Americans?
Because everything here is so expensive. So the housing market, for example.
Honestly, leadership in this country has just destroyed this country. It has been so bad. The economy hasn't grown, I feel like, in 15 years. Wages haven't grown. Inflation has just gone crazy. Since COVID, my shopping bill has almost doubled. It's at least gone up by 60%, I would say, my shopping bill. Everything is more expensive, but salaries, I think they've gotten worse. I'm not even kidding. I feel like salaries have gone lower. This country is, I love this country. It's given me everything I've got, my education, everything, the opportunities I've had. But the leadership of this country have just driven this country, not on its knees, but down on its face, I would say.
The houses you could get in the US versus the house in the UK, you're talking like triple the size.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's money is spent on rent, mortgages. It's just so much more expensive here. I also think that the job market, the amount that people get paid for the same jobs in America is significantly more.
Way more.
So it's just not giving people fair opportunities because of the amount of money and tax. Most of people.
We are taxed so much. If you make over 50k a year, so let's say you make 50 grand a year, you're only going to be getting about 3,200 a month. They're going to take like 16 grand off you in taxes if you make 50k. It's crazy, guys.
Wages go to tax as well, so the actual take home is very, very limited.
If Britain was to join the United States as the 51st state, how many states do you think would be richer than us per person, and how many would be poorer than us?
I would say there'd probably be 20 states richer.
Yeah.
And then 32 poorer.
And just to clarify, so your perspective, you're from Northern Ireland originally, which is obviously part of the UK, but you now live in Texas. So you've got both perspectives.
For sure. There's a lot of rich people in the US, but only in certain states like New York, Texas, California. But then you go to like Oklahoma and stuff, and they're just not that rich there.
So I'm possibly going to surprise you because according to the new study, every single American state is now wealthier per person than the UK, including Mississippi, which was it still is the poorest state per capita, has now overtaken the UK.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea.
So this kind of leads us on to the next question. Why do you think British people think we're richer than we are?
I would say there's a lot more middle class in Britain.
Yeah.
So, if you drive around small towns in America, there looks like there's a lot of poor people, but there's also a lot of rich people in the US, so it just varies. I think the general middle class in the UK just feels like they're richer.
It's just, I think salaries, because salaries in America are so much better and other countries, we've got a brain drain. A lot of the really talented people have left. They've gone to places where they can make double, even triple. Like my brother, he works in Dubai now. Like I've got lots of family that have left. The only reason I'm still here in the UK is my family. Like my dad doesn't live in the UK anymore. It's just me, my sisters and my mum, obviously my girlfriend. I wouldn't want to leave my mum and my siblings. Like I just wouldn't want to do that. But honestly, like if I was thinking purely of money, I would have left years ago. Salaries here are a joke, guys. You'll see software engineer jobs where they're offering 30k a year, guys. And I'm not talking junior either. I'm talking like full stack developers. They're going to pay them 30 grand a year. It is so bad.
Yeah. And what's very interesting is that you say, was it 25th or something? Mm-hmm. You did a lot better than the British public as a whole. So the British public, 3,000 people were surveyed, and the average was 7th. They thought we'd be the 7th richest state when we'd be the 51st.
Yeah. Wow.
So clearly there's a big disconnect between how rich British people think they are and how rich we actually are.
For sure. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Crazy. It is huge. There was a recent survey that found that Britain is now poorer than all 50 American states. We've just been overtaken by Mississippi. Yeah. Does that surprise you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we get run down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think Britain's as bad as people say.
Yeah. But there's also a poll, and British people think that if Britain was an American state, we'd be the 7th richest state. So the actual answer is 51. We would be the poorest American state.
But it depends who you ask, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's only London. It's only really London. If you take London out of the UK, there's just so much poverty. If you go up north...
Ask the rest of the people, they might get a different answer.
Do you think that, because obviously like quality of life stuff, like we have like free healthcare and stuff, do you think that kind of makes up for there not being so rich GDP per capita?
It depends what you deem as being rich though, doesn't it? You're talking monetary,
of course,
lifestyle, quality of life. Wouldn't go to America if you paid me.
Really?
He's probably never been though.
Got no interest in going to America.
Do you think, so
this is the thing, people like him have probably never been to America. You hear it all the time. I'd never go to America. I'd never live there. You've never been, so how can you even say that?
A lot of Americans
certainly wouldn't go now.
If Britain was an American state, if we were the 51st state, how many states do you think would be richer than us, and how many states do you think would be poorer than us?
Oh, that's a very good question. I like that one.
Thank you.
I don't know what a state is. Okay. Can you give me an example?
So like California, Texas, Florida.
Texas.
There's 50 states in the American Union. If Britain was to become the 51st state, how many states would we be richer than? How many would we be poorer than?
Oh, that's fun. Do you know?
I reckon we'd be in the top 10.
You reckon?
I reckon we'd be in the top 10, yeah, because I feel like London's got a lot of business going on.
London, but even London's suffering now. So many businesses are closing. I feel like nightclubs, you hear about nightclubs closing all the time. Restaurants can't survive with business rates and taxes.
It's got a very flourishing capital, do you know what I mean? It's like if you look where we are now, lots of tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say about top 10 definitely, yeah.
That's interesting. What about you, June?
Because I like the number 2, I'm going to say top 22.
Top 22. Yeah. That's nice and even.
Yeah,
I've got some bad news. We would be the 51st, the poorest. If every single American state, including Mississippi and Alabama, which are the poorest states, are now richer than Britain on a per capita basis. They've got per person. Yeah.
No way, that doesn't make sense.
But what's interesting is that there was a big survey done, and most British people think that we would be number 7. So 3,000 British people were asked, and the average number was we would be number 7, which is pretty much what you thought.
Yeah, I said 10.
And so it's actually you were actually more accurate than the average British person. But so why do you think we're so much poorer than Americans, and why don't we realise it?
I think it will be because like right now, probably like London's not like.
They're definitely in London. This is the thing. If they were to go to Hull or Newcastle, Sheffield, Middlesbrough, you know, Dundee, like just leave London and it's so different. It is eye-openingly different.
It's not like looking after itself, and they're not looking after each other. I don't feel like there's a lot of a community or like there's not much of a community here. I feel like everyone's very like segregated in certain regards. Like they're segregated within their communities. And I feel like we don't look to help each other out. It's everyone's each for their own, which overall, even though each for your own you think would benefit you, I feel like overall negatively impacts everyone.
Do you think America has better communities than we do? Stronger communities?
I feel like, yeah, definitely in certain states, like even if you don't like those communities, I feel like there's definitely some mad communities out there, like, do you know what I mean? But I feel like if you go to each state, there's a very tight knit. Like if you go to Alabama, you know what type of person you're expected to meet. If you're going to Texas, you kind of know, you know what I mean? You know what a Texas person is going to be like, you feel me?
Yeah. Do you agree with this?
Well, isn't it because we also had lockdown as well?
But the Americans did as well.
Oh.
I wish we could use that excuse.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I think there's a lot of bums here as well. I can't lie. There's a lot of people that don't really work a lot.
Because America has less welfare.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people in America are like, I don't know, even though they've got a terrible, well, in my opinion, terrible prime minister or president, whatever it's called, that thing. I think we have a lot of lazy people in the UK, whereas America, I feel like everyone's like really bright, really happy. I want to work.
Yeah, I think the two biggest issues that are facing this country is that the economy isn't growing, businesses aren't thriving. The environment here just does not encourage entrepreneurs. Like there's just so many taxes, and taxes are so high that it's almost impossible to run a traditional brick and mortar business. That's the biggest problem. The second biggest problem, which is probably close to being number one, is that our benefits bill is just way too high. So we spend 300 billion a year on our total benefits expenditure. Half of that is pensions. So the other half of that is like, you know, basically unemployment, people that, you know, or disability. Obviously, a lot of those people are genuinely disabled and they need that money. But I know for a fact, like based on my last job, there's a lot of exploitation. A lot of people are claiming disability that I've seen with my own eyes are abusing the system. It's just this country, the leaders just don't know what they're doing. Like we need leaders who aren't just career politicians. We need leaders who have been in the real world, like they're real business people. They've run huge companies. You know, we need those people running the economy, not people that went to study politics at uni and have just been a politician as soon as they graduated, because they don't know what the real world is. They don't know how to grow businesses, grow the economy. They just don't have a clue. And that's who's in Parliament right now. It's just an absolute mess. And honestly, I see things just getting worse, especially with AI taking so many jobs now. I just can't see the way we improve this. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and check out the video I'm going to link right here. See you there.